Hi everybody, welcome to the next episode in my new updated for 2024 DayZ Complete Beginner's Guide to Modding DayZ Community Servers for console, although this all applies, or mostly all applies to PC as well. In this particular video, I'm going to show you how to spawn in guns with attachments and also magazines that are full of bullets. So the idea is that on your server, when someone finds a gun and they pick it up, it's got a magazine in it, the magazine is full of bullets, and the gun will have various attachments on it. So it's a very nice quality of life improvement, especially if on your server you've got lots of beginner players or simply players who don't have enough time to go around looting the entire map all of the time and just want to have the experience of using some of these guns against zombies and things like that with a good number of bullets in them. Now remember, in the description below the video there is a link to this playlist, which is the playlist of all these new updated videos, so you can go through and check the ones that are good for you. Also, there is a previous video and a next video link, because I've tried to record these in some sort of logical order so you can work your way through them if you're brand new to this, or maybe you just need a refresher and you're working your way through modding your server to get it how you want to go. So without further ado, let's head over to Nitrado. You want to click on the web interface for your particular server, and that will take you to the dashboard. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to edit our types.xml so that we've got mags or magazines that are full of bullets. Now I have done this in a previous video, so you might want to fast forward a little bit if you've already seen this one. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to the file browser, and we're going to go to DayZ XB missions, or it would be PS missions for PlayStation, or just missions if this was a PC server. Click on that. And this is a Chernarus server, so it's Chernarus Plus. If it was a Livonia server, it would be Enoch. If it's the new map that's coming out later in the year, that will be a different name too. And we want to go into the DB folder, or the DB directory, this one here. And the file that we're going to download is the types.xml. This is one of those files that is very big. In fact, I think it's one of the biggest files in your mission files. So we really want to edit this locally on our PC, because it's a little bit difficult to do it in the web browser. So we're going to download that. So let's go and find that one. There it is. Let's just copy that. And I've got a folder, my working folder, where I put these. So I'm just going to create a new folder here. So this is going to be weapons. Let's just call it weapons like that. And let's paste that in like that. And then let's copy it and then paste it again. So we do that so that we've got a backup. So we've got a type. So let's work on the types first. So we're going to open this in Notepad++. I'll put a link in the description below the video where you can download Notepad++. It's a free text editor. It color codes stuff, makes it easier to see what's going on with your files, especially if you make a little bit of a mistake. So what we need to do, we need to left click somewhere and do Control F, and we're going to search for mag, and we're going to find all in current document. Alright, and you can see at the bottom we've got all of them, and then you just double click on it and you'll see mag. And what we need to do is we need to make sure the quant min and the quant max are 99 and 100. I think it can be 100 and 100. These are percentages of the minimum of what should be in this magazine and the maximum percentage of what should be in this magazine. So, for example, the mag for the 1911 handgun is a 7-round mag. So 100% would be 7 bullets. 99 is probably 7 bullets. It might be 6. So just go through all of these and make sure they all say 99 and 100. So there's the mag for the AK-101. So let's change that. I've just always did it as 99 and 100. AK-74. 99. 100. AK-74. 99. Now, if you know what you're doing, by all means use a find and replace. Just be careful that it is finding and replacing the ones for the magazine and not something that you don't want to do. So it is worth sometimes with these things having a cup of coffee, having a can of Coke, and just sitting here and just slowly working your way through the files so that you can be aware. So on and so forth. Just go down and do all this for all of these right to the bottom. So when you've gone through and you've worked your way through all of them, you want to just save that, and then let's go back to the folder that it's in, and we're just going to rename it just to type. So I've just left clicked it, and we're just going to get rid of the 7 bit. We're just going to call that types now. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to our XML validator. Again, there will be a link in the description below the video to this, and then we're going to choose file. It is in here, weapons. So there's my types file. So we're going to check that with our validator. Validate. No errors. Excellent. So now we're going to go back to our DB folder, which was here, and we're going to upload types open over the top. There we go. So that is now over the top, and what we could just restart that, but we're not going to quite restart yet because we've got another file we need to look at. So we're going to click on DayZ offline.generous plus, or it'll be Enoch if it's a Livonia server. And the next file we're interested in is the CFG spawnable types file. So if we come down to here, we've got CFG spawnable types.xml. So we're going to download this one. There you go, that's downloaded. So let's check that one out. And we're just going to cut that out, and we're going to put it in our working folder again. We're going to paste it in there, and then we're going to copy it, and we're going to paste it again. Again, that's so we have got a copy. So if we do make an error and we don't know where that error is, at least we can just go back to that original file that we know is okay and restart on that one, or just re-upload that one. So what we're going to do now, we're going to edit this with Notepad++. Let's close out the search box. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to scroll down till we find the weapons. All the weapons are together. There we go. Right, here we go. So here are the weapons. So it's after the zombies. So weapons. In fact, if you do a Control F for weapons, we'll see them. So here we go. So the first thing we see, we have a Makarov IJ70 pistol. Now remember, the class names which you see in the type designation here is often different to the name in the game. So an example of that would be something like the MP5K is called something else that I can't remember in the game files. The what have we got? What's an obvious one? The Vicar, CS527, Mosan, SKS, AKM. The LAR and the FAL are the obvious ones. KA74, actually it's not the AK74 in the files, is it? It's the KA74 and it's the KAM. So watch out for that, the fact that they are different. But anyway, I digress, we don't need to worry about that. So with the Makarov, the way that this works is that is the whole section of the code that is dedicated to the Makarov IJ70. So you've got the opening type statement, and then we've got the closing one with the / type. So that's a whole statement there. And then the bit that refers to the attachments is here. And so what this is saying is that for the attachments for the Makarov, there is a 60% chance, and it does it as 0.6, that the Makarov will spawn with this mag here, the IJ70. There's only one mag for the Makarov, so that's set at 100%. So what we could say is actually, if we want every Makarov IJ70 to spawn in with a magazine, we change that to 1.00. So that means every Makarov that spawns in will spawn in with a mag. So let's go down to the Mark II. This is the gun with the built-in suppressor. So again, that is the whole argument, the whole bit of code about the Mark II. So it starts with type name equals Mark II, or Mark II, and that's the end bit. So again, there's a 60% chance that this will spawn with this mag, and there's a 100% chance that it's this mag. That'll make sense when we look at some of the other ones. So let's change that to 1.00 or 100%. So again, all the Mark IIs. Right, now let's go down to the CZ75. This is where things start getting a little bit more interesting. Because what we have here is we have the CS75, and it says, well, there's a 15 round mag, and what we could do is we could change the percentage of that to 1.00. or 1.00. So the CZ75 will spawn in with a mag, but we've also got a suppressor here as well. So we could actually change the suppressor to 1.00, and we could change the light as well. And one of the coolest things in DayZ, if you haven't had to go with them already, is when you put a light on a gun. It's fantastic walking around in the dark with a UADS and you get this spotlight. So that's really cool. And so we're going to do the same as we go down to all of these. Now let's go to something a little bit more complicated. Now, here we have the MP5K, which is called the SG5K in the files. Now this, as you can see, is a little bit complicated. Because the reason for that is because this gun can, for some of the attachments, there's multiple options that fit in the same attachment slot. So let's start off and have a look at the handguards here. So this is the handguard bit up here. So what it's saying is, here is that you've got the rail handguard and you've got the plastic handguard. So it's saying that the MP5K will always spawn in with the plastic handguard. So we'll leave that as it is, and it will always spawn in with the MP5K buttstock, which is fair enough. Okay. So we'll leave those as they are. So then we've got down to the magazine bit. So what it's saying here is there's a 30% chance that the MP5K will spawn in with the magazine. And when it does spawn in with the magazine, there's a 50% chance it's the 15 round one, and a 50% chance it's a 30 round one. So what we could do is if we change that to 1.00 and then we change the 30 round, well, we could just leave it like that if we wanted, because that means that every MP5K is going to spawn in with a mag, and it's going to be either the 15 round or the 30 round one, you know, nice and easy. Or what we could do, we could comment out the 15 round one. So we could do left arrow bracket, exclamation mark, dash dash, like that. Then after that we go dash dash, left arrow bracket, like that. And that, what we've done there is we've put the left arrow bracket, exclamation mark, dash dash, and then dash dash, right arrow bracket. That comments out that particular line. So the server, DayZ server, DayZ won't read that line. And then what we could then do is we could change this to 1.00, because you couldn't just change that to 1.00 and left that at 0.5. I guess you could change it to 0.0 if you wanted to. It has to add up to 1, whatever it is. So now that means that every MP5K or SG5K will spawn in with a mag, and that mag will be the MP5 30 round. Now this is again where it gets a little bit complicated. So what we have here is all the different optics that the MP5K can spawn in with. So there's a 20% chance that an MP5K will spawn in with optic, and then there's a 10% chance of that one, 20%, 20%, 20%, 30% chance of that one. So that's 30 add 20 is 50, and then 20 add 1 is 100. So what I would do, I would change that to 1.00, so that every single MP5K spawns in with an optic, and then the game will choose randomly between one of those optics, which I think is pretty cool. And I would kind of leave that like that. Then if we come down to this one, we can see we now have the chance of a compensator or a pistol suppressor. So it says there's a 10% chance of getting a compensator and a 15% chance of a suppressor. So what I would do here, because the suppressors are cool, I like suppressors, I would put the suppressor up to 1.00, like so, and I would comment out the compensator. So I would go left arrow bracket, exclamation mark, dash dash, and then after that attachment setting I would go dash dash, right arrow bracket. So we've just taken out the compensator, so they're always going to spawn in with a suppressor. There we go. So the UMP45, exactly, we could do the same changes for that. VSS, you could do the same changes with that. ASFAL. I just want to go down to the M4 because that's probably the more complicated one to look at. Let's have a look. AK74, AK1. Here we go. So the M4A one is a little bit more complicated. So let's see what we've got. So you've got the damage setting there. So we could change the damage setting as well. So let's change that to the minimum damage is 00 and the maximum damage is 0.01. So it's not going to spawn in damaged. It's definitely going to spawn in with that buttstock. Definitely going to spawn in with the plastic handle guard. So as for the optic, it's always going to spawn in with the carry handle optic or the Buis optic. What I would do there is I would change the backup. That's the backup iron sights optic. I would change that to. In fact, I'd probably leave that as it is actually. Yeah, I would leave that as it is, and then I would go down to the attachments for the magazine and change the magazine to 1.00, and then the others. See, I think this is wrong. Yeah, this is definitely wrong in the files because we've got a chance of 1 for that mag, so it should all add up to 1, but it doesn't. So that isn't right there. So what have we got? It's very much out, isn't it? So 40 round, 10 round, 20 round, and 30 round mag. So I would probably change this. So let's have a look. So let's change that to 0.220. You will find errors in the code. Change that one to 20. Change that one to 20. And we're going to change this one to, so it's 40. There we go. And put 0 there. So 20, 20, 20, 60 and 40 is 1. So every M4A1 is going to spawn in with a mag, and it's going to have a random chance of one of those particular mags. So hopefully by now you've got the idea of how this works. It's quite a simple concept. It's just time consuming going through and doing it, but it's definitely worth it because it means that whenever you pick up a magazine off the floor or off a table or somewhere, it's going to have bullets in it, and whenever you pick up a weapon, it's going to have an appropriate scope, maybe a suppressor, but definitely a magazine in it, so you can start shooting infected zombies straight away and having fun with that side of the game, where if you play vanilla all the time, you just don't get that chance that often, do you? So carry on going through all those files, doing all that sort of stuff, just changing the attachment chances to 1.00 and making sure that the attachments underneath just add up to 1.00 or 100%, and just keep on going through it that way until you're happy and you finish those, and then you'd save it. And then what we need to do is we just need to go to validate our XML. So click on XML validation, choose the file, cfgspawnabletypes, open that up, validate that. No errors were found. Excellent. Let's go back to our folder, our directory, upload the file, cfgspawnabletypes, open that one, and then we can restart the server. Now, so what we've now done is magazines will be full and lots of the weapons, obviously I didn't quite finish my file, but lots of the weapons will spawn in with attachments on. Now there is also another way that is a little bit easier where I've already done them for you. So what I'll also do is I'll put a link to my GitHub repository in the description below this video, and just look for the latest boosted loot file for the map that you're working on. So at the moment we're on DayZ 1.24, and in a couple of weeks we're going up to DayZ 1.25. So there's DayZ 1.24. So there's DayZ Update 1.24 churn risk compatible boosted loot files, and if you just go through the instructions, it tells you what these get. But the way that you install these files is incredibly simple. All you do is install these files over the top of your existing server files, everything apart from README, in the appropriate directory where the original files are, and then restart your server and the changes will take effect. So with these files as well as I've also added suppressors to guns that don't have suppressors. So you've got a high chance that when a gun spawns in, not only will it have the correct attachments and a magazine and a scope, it will have a suppressor on as well, which is handy for DayZ because the infected, well, I don't know, they seem to hear suppressors from quite a long way away, don't they? But that's a better way of doing it. But make sure that you get the right file. So if you look at your server, you'll see the version that you're running on there 1.24 in this case. So we'd use the 1.24 files. When we go up to 1.25, you'll have the 1.25 files, 1.26, and hopefully I'll have updated versions of these as we go along. So there we go. That is how you add full magazines to your community server, and that is how you have guns with attachments as well. Hopefully you found this useful. If you have, hit like, want to see more of the same, press subscribe, and of course I'll see you again soon.